Good morning, everyone. We're going to start as usual, having a seat and paying attention to our breath. It is January 30th, and I cannot believe it. There's so much that I have that I love sharing, and we're almost here at the end. And it's with so much more to go. But here we are. We're going to do some active hip mobility today. So take your head over the hips, close your eyes, and start with a few deep breaths in and out of the nose. One of the things that we're going to be working on today is something that I share with a lot of folks who are recovering from hip injury, including myself. Like, this is some of the stuff that I use to heal from the pain of the arthritis and the tear and all of the stuff that I had going on. So when you're ready, open your eyes, take another deep breath, and gently come out. And we're going to start today with a little bit of hip opening before we get into these next exercises. So this is kind of like our opening, a little warm up, so to speak. So if you have a couple of blocks, stack them up. This is about 8 inches high. So if you have a really low stool, that might work too. Or if you don't even have that, but you can squat down and do the same exercise from a squatting position. So I'm going to do the first round here. I'm going to take my right foot out to the right, push down with the right foot, take your knee out to the side, take your knee back, release those actions, push the foot down, take the knee out, take the knee back. Relax and let the foot sink. Take your knee out, take your knee back. Relax. And last one, push the foot down, take your knee out, take your knee back, and come out. On this side, I'm going to show you what it looks like if you do this from a squat position. So you take your foot out, you press the foot down, you take your knee out, you reach your knee back and relax. The foot presses down, the knee goes out, the knee goes back. And relax. And one more time. The foot goes down, the knee goes out, the knee goes back. And relax. All right, let's go into a forward fold. Just lift those thighs up into the hip sockets. Shift your weight into the heels. Gently press your heels apart. And make sure that you're connected here, rib to thigh. All right. Now for this next piece, I like to use perhaps a couple of blocks on this one. But you don't have to. You can also put your fingertips on the floor. We're going to step back into a medium lunge here. And I want you to focus on, for just a second, the alignment. So you want your ankle right under your knee so that you have good, steady, solid alignment for your knee joint. Now, when in this position, I want you to get your hips, get your pelvis, and you're going to shift your pelvis a little bit. This is what it would look like. Right. Just a little twist like the agitator in your washing machine. Agitate right and left with your pelvis a few times. Get that nice and loose, and then we're going to agitate the pelvis forward towards your screen. Spin your back foot down, and then push down a little bit through this front foot, right foot, and push down a little bit through your left foot. Open up the chest, hold and breathe. Notice how that shifts in the hips when you put pressure, a little bit of pressure through your feet. Makes things feel really solid. Now take your pelvis and spin your pelvis towards the center. Place your other fingertips either down on the floor or onto a 4-inch high block. And then start to rotate here. Pelvis first, waist, chest. Let's go ahead and do the arm. That'll open you up a little bit more. Push down through your feet. and then spin. Feet down. Spin. Pelvis first, belly button, ribs, arm. This time we're going to lift the arm. Feel a little bit more rotation. If you bring your arm, your fingertips slightly towards the wall behind you, you have a little more rotation there through the waist. Feet drop into the floor. Feel solid through the hips and legs. Rotate your pelvis towards the floor. Take your fingertips to the block or the floor and rotate your pelvis, and then the spine follows towards the back wall, twisting. Feet drop down, spine lengthens. Here we go, rotating your pelvis towards the center here, and then towards the front. Flatten the foot, lift the arm, feet gently press down. Take a breath. Hips rotate, pelvis rotates down. Take the fingertips to the block. Get solid through the feet here, even in the center. Pelvis rotates, spine rotates. Push down through your feet gently. And then come back to the center. And then you might choke up a little bit so that you can just gently bring your back foot forward into your forward fold. Bend your knees, place your ribs on your thighs, shift your weight into the heels. Feel your spine elongate here. Take a nice deep breath. Right foot steps back. Here we are. This side, I'm going to go ahead and pull the blocks away just so that I can be with the people that are doing this without the blocks. Fingertips to the floor. So I'm going to spin open, pelvis first, spine follows. Ground down through your feet. Press your feet gently into the floor. Lift it up. Deep breath. Pelvis turns. Spine follows. Rotate. Pelvis rotates. Rotate, rotate. Arm up. Deep breath. And then pelvis rotates again to draw you to the center. Pelvis rotates open to the side. Arm up, twist. Deep breath. Fingertips to the floor, pelvis rotates. Pelvis keeps rotating. Twist, open. Arm up. Feet drop down into the floor. Feel that solidness through the hips. Here's the fingertips to the floor. Step this back foot forward and fold. Weight shifts into the heels and gently press your heels apart. Take a deep breath. And then use the pressure of your feet against the floor to help you lift up with a straight spine. So we don't want to roll through the spine. And that's a big, it's a big conversation, but basically it's going to keep you from bulging your discs. So let's have it seat on the floor, actually hands and knees on the floor. And we're going to do a little bit of hip opening here. So we're going to come into this little modified side plank right here with the leg lifted parallel to the floor. So we're going to do a little bit of this pelvis rotation that we were practicing in the last position. So we're going to bring the pelvis slowly, very slowly, to face the floor. Belly button and heart face the floor, and then belly button and heart face the side, face the screen. All right, one more time. Belly button and heart face the floor. Slow, slow, slow. And then belly button and heart face the side. Now, what we're going to do is a warm-up exercise for glute medius. So this is going to make things change a little bit. It's going to feel different after we do this warm-up exercise. So if you lie down on your back, we're going to do our glute medius isolation position. So remember, again, there's one thing that you don't do. You don't touch your heel to the floor. You put the block underneath your knee here as you rotate your knee out. and then you push your knee into the block. And I only want you to feel this glute medius, this right here on the outside of the hip. And if you feel anything else, you need to do less effort. I want you to just try 20% effort. If you like push down, we're going to call that 100%, and then we push half, 50%. And then from there, you can kind of approximate 20%. Push, relax, push, relax, and only feel it on this outside of the hip. If you feel it anywhere else, like the groin or the adductors or the big part of glute maximus, you want to back off in your effort. Push, hold, push and hold. And then relax. Here we go to our second side. Heel is up, toes are on the floor. That's what you're going to push with. It's the balls of the feet. The balls of the feet, and then outside of the knee, push into the block. On and off. And this side might be different. So you might have to back down more on one side or the other, especially if you have a hip injury. Probably going to work at 10% if you have an injury. And just know that that's going to build more strength in the long term than it will to try to do everything you can. Push down and relax. That's one of the hardest things I teach, is to have people work at a lower what is it, pressure level, a pushing level. Hold and breathe. And I know from my own experience that was a hard part. That was a hard part. But once I realized in my body how much of a difference it made and how strong I got from it, it was shocking almost. And then I started to really be able to embrace it a little bit more. All right, let's roll to the side and push up to seated. And we're going to come back into that position we were in and just kind of notice how different it is now. Come into this same side, modified side plank, rotating the pelvis toward the floor, belly button and heart face the floor, and then rotate the pelvis open here and rotate down again. Pelvis, belly button, heart, and rotate open. Wonderful. Last one. And rotate. All right, now we're going to do this other side, but I want to stay where I can face you guys. So I'm going to switch my body around to the other side. Here we go, opening up. And I call these east-west hip hinges. And what we did was we activated glute medius in an isolated position, or hopefully that's what we did. And what that does is it allows that muscle to turn on, and you interrupt the takeover patterns of your other hip muscles trying to do the work for glute medius. A couple more. If that makes no sense to you, ignore me and just follow along and enjoy your body. And relax out. All right, now for this next one, we're going to get a block, or maybe even two. Stand up with me. And we're going to place them toward the front of your mat, 1, 2, 9 inches high. So I'm going to demonstrate this a couple of different ways. I'm going to demonstrate it with my fingertips from both hands touching, and then I'll demonstrate it with one. All right, so first, if you know what a warrior 3 is, this is going to look similar to a warrior 3. I'm going to take my head and my heel, pretend they're one line so that you don't break the line. One line, head to heel. And then from here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep looking at the floor for balance, and I'm going to rotate my pelvis, belly button and heart open, and then close. I'll move myself back just a little bit. Here it is again. Rotate open and close. And yes, you can have, or actually please have a little bit of bend in your standing knee. Open and close. Now here's the action with one hand. I like one hand because it allows me more space to open here and close, but that requires a little bit more balance. Also, if you're moving your eyeballs with you, that requires more balance. So depending on your balance quotient, you might want to be looking at the floor the whole time and allowing your body to rotate open, which is going to feel like you're rotating your neck. All right, and then stand up. Feel your hip on that side. And here we go on our second side. I'm going to rotate myself around again. And you can choose either two hands on two blocks or one hand on one. Rotating open and closed. Rotating open, really using that glute medius that we ignited earlier. And closed. Rotating open. And close. So what makes this challenging is that we're normally rotating our thigh around in our hip socket, right? Like if you pick your leg up and kick it or move your leg around. But here we're rotating the pelvis around the thigh bone. It makes it particularly challenging. Let's do one more. And just know that this is a very challenging exercise. Place the foot on the floor. I teach yoga teachers, and a lot of yoga teachers struggle with this. So just to let you know that if you're struggling, don't worry about it. That's where we have a little strength to be built. Shift the weight into the heels and gently press the heels apart. Enjoy this forward fold. Another couple of breaths. And then drop the feet into the floor and lift the spine up. Take a nice deep breath. And we're going to end with a little back bend. After all that hip work, a back bend is very, let's say, pleasing. This is the next thing that wants to stretch out is the spine. Catch the head in the hands and squeeze those elbows together. Take a nice deep breath. And then find yourself a nice relaxed position. Lie on the floor in the Shavasana, or take your legs up the wall and take 5 minutes for yourself, at least 5 minutes if you can. And just focus on your breath. Enjoy your hips for the rest of the day, my friends. And I'll be back again tomorrow morning and have some more good stuff for you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments or reach out to us. Our website is movewellwithus.com. Until next time, take really good care, and I'll see you soon.